stop paying attention to what other people do and pay attention to what you're doing and make sure you're showing up every single day. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. And, look, I got done with a 7-day elk hunt out in Montana. And I want to talk about a couple things that I just would liken that elk hunt to business. And so when we look at that elk hunt and I look at business, the key to a success in business, or one of, there's many, right? Well, one of those keys is patience and then persistence and consistency, right? So we have to be patient, but to take our time. And we have to stop looking at, I think the biggest thing today is just instant gratification. And I'm guilty of it. I think we're all probably guilty of it, right? It's, today's tech world where we literally have a computer in our fingertips at all times. We have the answers at all times. We have, YouTube videos and Instagram reels and all that kind of stuff. It's right there. And we don't have patience. When we get bored, we quickly, get caught up scrolling or doing something and get distracted very quickly. And so patience is really critical. And along with patience comes persistence, comes doing things and continuing to push on, even when you're not getting excellent results right away. And then with persistence comes consistency. Kind of this very, very similar, right? So we want to be consistently persistent, right? We want to continue to push, continue to look. We're gonna come up with obstacles in our journey. We're always going to, and it really depends on how quickly we give up on those obstacles. And so people who don't find success, of course, you have to work. First of all, you have to work beyond the fear. So there's a fear that I would say holds most people back. They don't even try it for the first time. But once you get past that fear of failure and you do try something, what most people end up doing is they get past that fear of failure, and maybe it's just they kind of got past it to try it, and they try it, and then what happens is it doesn't go as planned and they give up. Look, I've been doing this podcast since 2017. Very few people do a podcast and get past like episode 10, right? Most people don't get past episode 100. And I have a podcast that I've been doing now since 2017. I'm past episode 700. And there's other people that are past episode 2000, and they're consistent and they're persistent. And it didn't start out successful. In fact, it maybe started out less successful than the person that gave up at episode number 10 or number 20. But that is the common thing when we look at anything. It's not just podcasts, it's business, it's relationships, right? There's so many things that people give up so quickly. The first little bit of adversity that happens, they just say, oh, I'm done, I'm out. This doesn't work. It's not for me, whatever it might be. And maybe it isn't for you. Then that's fine. Because you just don't have the backbone for it. Whatever. That's not going to get you where you want to go. So back to this elk hunting, look, we elk hunted for 7 days, and you could say we weren't successful, and you'd be accurate in some sense, right? We elk hunted for 7 days and we didn't kill an elk. Our goal was to go and shoot an elk. And we chased the elk. We found a lot of elk, but we didn't ultimately end up with our goal. But why I would say it was a successful hunt is because we were persistent. we continue to push on. We had plenty of opportunities that we messed up on that just didn't unfold properly. And we didn't let that completely derail us. We said, we're going to get up and we're going to try it again. And so, the very first day, we were hearing elk bugling, we were bow hunting, myself and a buddy, and we're bow hunting, and you got to get 40 yards from this bull, and a lot of times the bull's surrounded by cows, which in this case it was. And so this first day we kind of follow this bull, and we keep on kind of getting closer to that bull, and finally get to where we can see the bull, but the cows see us and they leave. And so we back out of there. And we could have just given up then. We could have said, "Oh man, we kicked them. We're done. Let's go somewhere else." But we went and regrouped and came up with a game plan. We waited a few hours, several hours. Took a nap and ate some lunch, and relaxed for a while, and regrouped and said, "Okay, where would they be?" And so we started again hunting, and we heard the bull again. The bulls are at this time of the year, they're bugling, so they're making really loud noise. If you don't know what a bull bugle sounds like, just look it up on YouTube. It's really cool. And then these cows are making cow calls. And again, look it up on YouTube, and you can look up elk rut, and it's pretty fun, pretty exciting to do if you're into that sort of things. A lot of people are like, that would be the worst thing ever. I wouldn't want to do that. But regardless, we start hearing them. And so we go over there and get close, but we couldn't get close enough because they were kind of in this field. And so we're sitting here 120 yards away. Again, you got to get about 40 yards in order to shoot them with your bow. And so we come up with a game plan and how we're going to sneak up. And as we start to sneak up, we get caught, and they run away. And again, we could have just given up. Could have said, "That's it. We blew them out. Just not going to happen, right? We got to go to a different spot." And a lot of hunters would, but we said, "No, we're gonna we're gonna learn. We're gonna continue to learn and push." And so we continued to do this. And I'll fast forward because I don't want to talk about all 7 days, but we continue to do this for the remaining 6 days, and continue to either get caught or just not be able to get close enough to these bulls. We had several bulls. I mean, we had an amazing experience. Another one, we saw this spike buck. We're walking in the morning and just barely caught a glimpse of this spike buck, 100 yards. Spike bull, sorry, about 100 yards from us, and have our binoculars up, and you can kind of see better through your binoculars in when it's a little dark out. And all of a sudden, this big bull comes running out and chases this spike bull away, and he's probably again 100 yards from us, and we're never able to get closer to him because we're out in the middle of this field, and we weren't able to stock up on him, and he walked away. But again, I consider it successful because we learned from this. We learned the patterns of these elk. We learned how they act in the woods, in the mountains. We learn what they do when they get up in the morning, and where they go. We learned where they end up during the middle of the day. We learned where they come out in the evening. And so we learned about their habits and their habitat, and we were able to see what they, we got into kind of areas that, they live in, and we're seeing fresh sign, we're seeing fresh poop, we're seeing elk take mud baths, we're seeing where these elk literally roll in the mud, right, and where they go to eat, where they go to drink. And we're finding this stuff out because we were persistent, because we continue to push on, because we said we're not going to let our failures. We're not going to let, what happened negatively to us hold us back. We're going to learn from what happened and make it a positive, learn from that, and we're going to push on and we're going to learn and we're going to be better. And it, it didn't end up in a successful, harvest this year, but what will it do? It'll prepare us for the future and it'll make us better for next year. And that's the key. And that's where you need to be thinking about, how are you showing up every single day? And it's easy to get disappointed, distracted, just down on yourself when you're saying things just aren't working, right? Because, man, I want it to work today. I see these social media posts of this guy just closing an apartment building. This guy is growing their business. This gal is doing this. And we're seeing these success stories and we're just saying, man, I'm not doing it. I'm not seeing it. Right. Oh my gosh. They're making so much money and look at how little I'm making. I got to do something different. I got to pivot. I'm going to get distracted by all this other crap out there. Right. And no longer focus on what's important to me and to my business and to my growth. And that sabotages you. And so stop paying attention to what other people do and pay attention to what you're doing and make sure you're showing up every single day and make sure you're getting better a little bit every day. One of the things that I try to do, and I'm guilty of not doing this as much anymore, and I really need to start doing it again now that I'm actually just talking about it, reminding myself about it. One of the things I like to do, and I really used to do a lot, is I just reflect every single day. And I just say, what happened today? What did I do? What did I waste my time on? What did I get distracted on? What did I lose my focus on? And what did I achieve? And I literally walk through what did I achieve? And I want to make sure I end on what did I achieve, right? I I think it's important to figure out what you got distracted on, what went wrong. I think that's really important. What went wrong today? What did I get distracted on? What did I lose my focus on and my discipline on? But what also went really well? And I want to make sure that every single day I can say X, Y, and Z went well. I did this today and I got a little bit better. And okay, maybe I didn't quite show up the way I wanted to. So tomorrow can I make sure I'm better prepared? How tomorrow can I make sure that I'm persistent, right? That I continue to push on. Um, I, when I was first starting this business, I was trying to figure out, I was flipping houses, right? And that was going well, but I wanted to build a rental portfolio. And, so at the time, you get a few loans in your own personal name. And I was a teacher, so I didn't have a lot of, credit. My wife, she had a job too. So we were able to get four houses. So the one we lived in, and then three other houses as rentals. And then I hooked up with a couple of buddies, and they partnered with me, and they each got a few loans in their name, and so we had some rental properties. So I was able to, first of all, get some loans in my personal name, get some loans in some friends' personal names, and do some joint ventures that way. But then I really ran out of the ability to get loans, and I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? So I could have just I could have just given up, right? I could have just said, well, I'm done, right? I can't get any more loans. Um, and I just got to keep on flipping properties, and eventually I'll, maybe sell these or whatever. Okay, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to build a big rental portfolio. And so what I did is I started calling banks. I started calling local banks. I ended up getting in touch with US Bank. And this was the best actually call. So US Bank guy said, look, I'm not going to give you a loan. And and no bank like mine is going to give you a loan. But he said, what you need to do is you need to call these local banks, these small 1, 2, 3 branch banks, and you need to talk with their chief lending officer, commercial, and you need to ask for a commercial real estate loan. And so go and call these banks. And so I did that, and I started calling these banks, and I got so many no's. And I remember this gal who I called, and she's like, "Man, you're so stupid. I can't believe you're calling me. It's people like you that caused this market. This was back in 2000, probably nine, right? So the whole freaking real estate industry is on fire, right? Like everybody's losing their shirt. There's so many foreclosures out there. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. There's every single day you'd open the MLS up and there would be so many listings out there, and the prices are just falling like a rock. And she's just like, you're going to lose all your money and blah, blah, blah. And don't do this. And I just, again, I just said, no, I can't let that stop me. I got to continue to push on. And so I called over 100 local banks, and I got so many no's. I got all no's. I just continued to get no's. And finally, and it actually was through a referral. Somebody said, "Hey, call this bank. They're actually no longer around. They got bought out, but they call this bank. I think you might have success with them." So I called them, and I called this banker, and she said, "Come on in, and yeah, we're interested." I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." So finally, the first banker, Lisa, she had me come in, and we talked about what I want to do. And she said, "100%, we'll be able to lend to you." And so that started that journey. And it said, okay, finally, I got 100 no's. I got one yes, and I'm going to continue. And so after I got that loan or a couple loans from that lender, I continued to push on, and I continued to call banks, and I continued to get no's, but then I would get a couple of yeses here and there. And I built myself a really nice rental portfolio. And it was through persistence. It was through continuing to push on and not taking that no for an answer, going, this is my goal. This is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. And I'm not going to let somebody or something hold me back from getting there. I believe in it. I know that this is profitable. I know that this is the way to go. When I ran out of money, what did I do? I found other people. Okay. I found other people that had money that wanted to invest with me so I could continue to push on. So I continue to do the next deal. When deals were really hard to find, I started getting creative. I started finding different ways to find deals, right? It was no longer easy to find deals on the MLS. So what am I doing? I'm talking to wholesalers. I'm cold calling. I'm doing all kinds of things to find new deals. I'm being persistent. I'm continuing to push on. Deals are hard to get. Instead of writing 5 offers and getting 4 deals, now I got to write 30, 40, 50 offers and get 1 deal. And that's okay. We're going to be persistent. We're going to push on. And the same thing has happened with the multifamily. I mean, look, multifamily, when I first started multifamily, I didn't have to look at that many deals. I'd look at 10, 15, maybe 20 deals. I'd write an offer on a couple of them, and I'd get one of them. And that was pretty easy, right? The deals penciled out fairly well, and it felt good. And now as time's gone on, I think the last time, it's been, I think my analyst said it was 406 days since we closed on our last deal. So we just closed on a multifamily deal. What was it? 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. The one before that was in May of 2023. So it was over a year since we closed on our last apartment deal. We could have easily given up, said, hey, we got to pivot. We got to buy something different. We can't buy multifamily anymore. These deals just don't work. But we said, no, we're going to continue to push on. We looked at hundreds and hundreds of deals, right? We underwrote way over 100 deals. We offered on dozens and dozens of deals. We continued to push on and be persistent and consistent. And that's what it takes, again, if you're going to be successful. So don't give up the first sign of adversity. Don't give up the second sign. Don't give up after 100 no's. Continue to continue to push on, be disciplined, and be persistent. It's easy to give up. It's difficult to continue to push, and especially when you have true failures, right? Especially when things go wrong. and you lose money, or just whatever. It just doesn't work the way you expected. So that's I hope that spoke to you. And if you're in a position right now where you're just not feeling it, um, just remember this. And maybe things are going really well, but I can promise you that it won't always be that way. And so just always remember, look, let's not get distracted. Let's stay disciplined. Let's stay persistent. Let's stay consistent. And you're going to find that even though the success always doesn't come easy, it will come, and you will see the success, and you will reap the rewards of that if you stay true to your goals, to your objectives. And of course, there's a lot of hard work along the way. It's not just about persistence and consistency, but that's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it. Stay disciplined, keep taking action, and don't be afraid. Failures are going to happen. Continue to push on, and man, let's have success together. Hope you are just crushing it right now, and you have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day a Saturday. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience, and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.